Hi there my friends, and welcome back for another instalment of Jennifer's 1000 greatest vinyl LPs. And been interesting to read a few of your comments, but haven't really touched upon any of the albums that people have been suggesting. There's a few people suggested things I don't have at all, so sorry about that, but it's the 1000 greatest albums from what's behind me. Anyway, without further ado, let's have a look at today's selection. We're into numbers 7, 8 and 9, and I thought, well, let's go with a little something from the Beatles first up. So we've got the Yellow Submarine Songtrack. Now this is a bit more of an unusual album from the Beatles because it contains tracks off other albums, but it's in effect the soundtrack from the film Yellow Submarine. We're going to slide this out. This is actually quite a new release. I'm not entirely sure that this was available at the time, but this is certainly a fairly new release. I say fairly new. I've had it a while, 1999. But I always thought at the time it was quite novel to have an LP that says also available on video and DVD on the front. It just, you know, at the time when vinyl was kind of falling from the limelight, it was just something a bit different. But we get a lovely gatefold sleeve here with lots of trippy psychedelic pictures taken from the film Yellow Submarine in there, and this is a characteristic of Beatles albums, in fact to the point where the Sgt. Pepper's album, I believe, was the first ever album to be a gatefold. But there we got it. It's very, very bright. I mean, it's no coincidence really that one of the tracks on this is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and it does rather look like an LSD trip. The album itself is bright yellow and slightly translucent. It's a nice touch. Yellow Submarine, yellow LP. My favourite track on this is Hey Bulldog. I really love that track. In fact, it was one of the reasons that I bought this, because back when the Yellow Submarine film was remastered and re-released, Hey Bulldog, I believe it may have been even re-released as a single, and this is of course before the days of legitimate downloads, so it's quite an achievement for the Beatles that they've kind of kept on releasing singles, albeit a reissue of an earlier track. And now, in the name of balance, I mean, everybody who was a child of the 1990s will have remembered the Blur versus Oasis. Well, if you go back to the 60s, it was Beatles versus these boys, the bad boys of rock and roll, the Rolling Stones, and this is an original 1960s pressing on the Decca label of big hits High Tide and Green Grass. Now this is a sort of compilation album of a lot of their early hits, but released at the time. Now I know that this compilation was so successful that it could still be bought on vinyl reissue. Even as late as the 1990s, I can remember going into Andy's Records, as was in Bolton, them having a brand spanking new vinyl copy of this, probably in about 1996-97. But on this album we have, you know, this is 24 karat Rolling Stones Gold. We've got Have You Seen Your Mother Baby, Standing in the Shadow, Paint It Black, It's All Over Now, The Last Time, Heart of Stone, Not Fade Away, Come On, I Can't Get No Satisfaction, Get Off My Cloud, As Tears Go By, 19th Nervous Breakdown, Lady Jane, Time Is On My Side, and not forgetting Little Red Rooster. It's a great Rolling Stones album. I often say to people that if you own only one Rolling Stones album, although this is cheating just a little bit by being a sort of a compilation, this is the album to get without doubt. And it's interesting actually, if we slide that out of its protective sleeve, it's a sort of semi-gatefold, and inside we get these very, very large photographs of the band. And it's looking a bit faded now. This was actually used to belong to my father. He bought this when he was at university. But it's amazing to see the boys looking amazingly young and frisky. When you think they were on stage recently, looking, well, they are pensioners, so it is quite interesting to look on back. Now the third album, number 9 in our series of 1000, I thought I'd bring us right up to date And this is one that some of you might find quite surprising to see on vinyl. And this is the shocking Miss Caro Emerald. Well, I was very impressed to track this down on vinyl. She's an artist that I've been hearing an awful lot being played on the radio. And the sound is very much like a 1920s sort of feel to it. Feel good, but with very, very good lyrics. Almost a flapper style to some of these tracks. She's an incredibly talented singer. And I tracked this down. It is a gatefold album, just like those previous two. However, I've left it in its original cellophane wrapper here. Even complete with the sticker that says free download included. This is just a code that you can actually download an MP3 copy of the album to listen on your iPod, which I have done. I burnt it to CD and I listen to that when I'm out driving, because let's face it, you're going to struggle to find a car that's got a stereo system where you can slide one of these babies in and give it a spin on the sound system. But there is this gatefold. I'm not actually sure what the picture is in there, but I've left it in the cellophane sleeve for a bit of protection. Well, there you are. That's the third video in our series, and another 3 LPs there. All, I'm sure you'll agree with me, 24 carat classic gold music. Anyway, don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to share it as well, because sharing is caring. And if you subscribe to the channel, you'll be able to get news of when new videos come as they come up. And don't forget to look back through all of our previous videos. We've got loads in there across a number of different subjects, from writing to records to model railways. Anyway, you take very good care of yourself, my friends, and I will see you next time.